So the previous video was stopped by the criminals, supposedly to like a space. So far we did a screen recording showcasing that they somehow managed to connect the earpods to this phone even though the earpods were closed, charging and inside the thing, even with the thing blinking the light, saying disconnected. Maybe they did something to that device as well. And documented too. And then it's just another weirdnesses that just out of the blue happens. Don't touch.
Very full on the mind, as you can see with the detail. Right? So that's the same thing in this case. Our house them again. They have the signal throwing drugs in front of a police station. I think that they're gonna have bigger problems regardless of whatever they do in this country. Yeah, I'm gonna have to continue because this video is interrupted. So what I'm thinking is I'm gonna play create another video to make this final part. I was going to showcase
I didn't know what happened, so it probably did happen right away.
So there's on this endpoint in the videos. We've seen it happen even a half gigabyte speed, right? So I was now 34 minutes and 52 seconds, but it's beautiful too that
right, that's capture, copy that it is. We don't have any control. As they're concerned, it's just
because they have talking to the phone, but
again,
no power to it. It's going to work out for them. A lot of them say that the real victim that he was in that video until the moment when we stopped it, but then he continued the audio record and then started the video again. Again, the beauty of the real victim crime, particularly when you have zero crimes in line, the cruelty towards scandals and all that rostos does to me. Anyways, more power to whatever all those faces that you see right now and the faces that say YouTube and everywhere. Things is going to pan out for them. 35 minutes and 35 seconds.
Yeah, there you go. That's just a replay. So, yep. That'll be them. Now the phone is at 2% battery. Is that the screenshot? My finger is still there. That is what, okay, normal. I was gonna say that there's something related to it because the movement happened exactly the same time, and it was related to this. It is part of this film. It's you remember I mentioned before that the criminals that would do something at first weird, that all of a sudden makes kind of sense. Yeah, in front of me. And the very few moments I'm paying attention because you know at this point I was completely distracted. So that's how it goes. So again, as I said, they're involved in this. The action you saw is normal. It's designed to be normal. It's designed to cause me to say they're involved in this, and they say something that they're not. Until you point out all those things, except that those things are so obvious for most cases, including this one, where I would say that all the other ones saying otherwise are what we call masturbating. There's no reasonable person that would say that in the context of what you saw, something starting in the very few seconds that I was paying attention, even though that I was otherwise concentrated here, and it started then because of the noise, right? And then stopping a couple seconds later, less than 10, again, on the very few seconds of paying attention, because incidentally it's just playing something else, etc. It's not an accident. So, anyone saying otherwise is not realistically believing that. He's just pretending to do that. Giving that nice wet hand to their little friend. So, if you give a nice wet hand to your little friend, that's what they call. Okay? And that's the point. Now, that will be them. That will be the ones actually believing that. Which means, as I said, for those times, those things are so explicit that anyone saying they genuinely believe in those things, it's as much as gives me guilt in the crime. Right? Again, as I said, most of those are very specific. Even if one or two are not, most of those are very specific. Same thing in reverse about me. Anything that they accuse me of are very self-evident that if you stop and give 2 seconds about, it will make much sense. In this case, speaking of these videos, right? At this point, I don't need that. It's not defense. It's essentially based on accusation. But for the most part, I'm talking, waving my hands, moving very quickly. You see that yourself, right? And as a matter of fact, they even expect you to believe that I'll be doing this. As you see in the videos back then in Gelson's place, right? Now, would you believe that a guy who takes this crime so seriously, who puts himself and his reputation, or his life, thanks to criminals we see today by faith, so much would take this as a joke in a place like over there, Jelson's place, so there's really no reason for. I would just be doing this, right? So, yes, go ahead. There's nothing I have to say. I'll just say, that's probably right. Indeed, makes perfect sense. Seems absolutely legit. So, pay attention to the criminals who base themselves on that. Because if you don't base yourself on that, and you base yourself on the rest, all you have is exactly what I'm accusing of. Right? You can do the elimination route. Even being drugged all the time, we did the elimination route. So, this snappy behavior is the most important point there. And then that. So, you already knew the involvement from before. Right now, all you have is proof of his snappy behavior, including the reaction to me very explicitly on record. Now remember, all those criminals will be fully aware of all the other crimes up to this point, right? Which is the point. We're not explaining things to criminals, although they seem to really believe that that's the case. As a matter of fact, the fact that they believe that's the case is the reason why we say to you that it's so many explanations and so much detail with actual evidence backing it up that I confidently say if at any point you believe it's too side to this, or just haven't seen the evidence. And you can see because it's available to you. But I propose that what those guys thinking, if they genuinely believe that after the war crimes you know exist, because they know that all those war crimes happen and you're documenting the video, they can get away, so to speak. So what further crimes do they expect to be done to me to deal with that? Right? But we're not that concerned about that, because what we do know is those are the faces we're keeping. Now, for those criminals there, they're probably saying the reason we're probably doing that because they think that they're invisible, right? Because the quality is low and we're not changing quality because you have problems with space and so on and so forth. And you're probably right. So we have that as part of the crime for the other criminals today alone, or not the other day. Which is why we say that you join this crime, you're joining a very loaded pack and full prices for everything. Now, yeah, most of them talk about torture, the animal abuse, all the other crucial things that they do, the humanity, the dehumanization, the drug crimes, but for the most part, but numeric counting. But for the most part, counting by head count, you see most of it. Those are the criminals that were trying to get attention to be seen by you. Fortunately, there's always something that they do extra that confirms that to you. Oh, sorry, they think they don't. So what they think is that they actually don't do anything too explicit, and most of those things are going to be dismissible, as in that's just normal behavior. Except for some of them, they're particularly stupid and they fuck up. And when they fuck up, you can see that that's clearly what all of them are trying to do. And then you apply what the dumbest ones do to the other ones who are less dumb. And it's not smart, because if you're smart, you're not part of war crime. But then you pick up the dumbest ones and use them as a template for the less dumb ones. So if you need convincing, pick up the dumbest ones and how they think that they do, and you can clearly see. And then you copy-paste that to the other ones, because you see that the behavior is essentially the same. So one improve what actually happened to convince you code, and the other one just enhance to see the sheer numbers, cruelty levels, the enhancements of particular things. As I said, the faggot, again, it's called faggot, is an old guy involved in this crime. That's the definition for me. So a fag. Yeah, old being senior, which in normal place we call senior, because again, you wouldn't call a Nazi, you wouldn't call those high Argentinians seniors in, okay, maybe, I don't know. So for those who are involved in this crime, that's my definition. To have one of those tags actually describing making a joke out of, something. I mentioned that before several times. My argument to you is just pick up that, ask a bunch of inmates from serious offenses if they would do that to the victim of their crimes, and then you have that back to this. Now, this is the way to demonstrate it. The fact of the case are you have a guy with 70, 80 years of age coming to me to say something that someone that they murdered used to say to me that belongs to my family. Specifically, long sentence, as you see in video. And that's documented here. So, again, that's the crime that those individuals you just saw went to the pasta, right? So, and as such, they're seen. And yeah, perhaps the guys over there didn't actually be too seen by the other ones. The criminals in the morning didn't. The ones in the early afternoon didn't. That was 480p. That's pretty good. 10 put it on, the faces are still there. Context comes from this. Let's see everything pretty clearly. And this one, let's see my mouth. I'd say that's my deal, but it puts the crime in a very extra layer of interference with fire, or tampering. As I said, at that point it's just sort of tampering rarity. Screenshot to the point, with the battery visible on the screen. And that's the famous 1% we all know. We all see. There's also on the background, as a subtitle, the location for where we are, just in case you need some extra tagging. It's kind of pointless. I don't think you're gonna pick that up. It adds up a bunch of files. I've already issued virtual files. I don't know.